Hello everyone, today in this video we'll fight against the Admas character of our world around us, as we always do it in every video in this channel. And today we will fight back again the leftist pseudo-liberation, because leftists always claim that they want to liberate the people from anything, especially from currently from this what's traditional and this what's historical, and of course, as always, they promise bright future, but we end up, if we allow for this as populations, we end up in genocide and destruction. So today we will come back to the Roman historian from the second half of the 1st century AD and first half of the 2nd century AD, Tacitus. And Tacitus, in his Imperial Annals, had such a perfect quotation that goes as follows: the more corrupt the state, the more numerous law it produces. So we see the more corrupt the state, the most numerous laws it produces. So it means that this is exactly as we have the situation now, like someone imposed this reality from this quotation, as if someone imposed the reality from this quotation into our reality. Because let's see, especially European Union, we have so many regulations for everything. We have so many laws passed, bills passed each year. Who can follow that? No one. And there is also another saying that says that the fact that you don't know the law doesn't allow you not to obey it. So even if you don't know the law, you are expected to obey it, which is actually bullshit, because in this situation, if law is so numerous and very often all of these regulations are in contradiction with each other, so how to obey it? And that's why we have such a really huge mess in our states and in our everyday life. And the question is, what's the purpose of that? Why do we have it? And this is simple. The purpose of that is as follows: very corrupted leaders, very corrupted lawyers, the management of great managers of great corporations. They want to have a situation with the legislative point of view very blurred and very fuzzy. Why? Because in such a situation, when nothing is obvious, nothing is clear, big fishes swim very well in the blurred water, in the dirty waters. But small fishes are getting lost very quickly in the dirty waters. This is actually the real reason behind this mess we have in our regulations, and why this is true, that the more corrupt the state, the more numerous laws it produces. This is true, and we cannot deny it. And we see that despite the fact Romans are known to be one of the creators of the modern code of laws, at least basics of that, every code of law of the European or Northern American and very often Latin American states are taking from famous Codex of Justinian that was written in the 6th century in Latin after the order of the Emperor Justinian the Great, because he wanted to codify entire Roman law and introduce some order. And it was done in Latin, despite the fact it was done in the eastern part of the Roman Empire. And in Bologna in the 11th century, one of the monks, scholars, at the same time he was monk and scholar, digged out this Codex of Justinian, and this was the beginning of the famous Bologna University that started as a school of law. So we see that all Western European and Northern American, and to a large extent also Latin American code of laws originate from the Roman law, that was luckily codified, arranged, organized during the reign of Justinian the Great very well. So we see that despite the fact that Romans were the nation that created basics for modern code of laws that are still in use today, of course with some modifications, they also had to face some deformation of this almost perfect system they created. And the quotation from Tacitus, from his famous work Imperial Annals, that the more corrupt the state, the more numerous laws it produces. It means that they also face the problems we are facing, with the only difference that during the time of that were described by Tacitus, so first imperial dynasty, Claudio-Julian dynasty of the Roman Empire, still the problem was not so severe as we have it now. But Romans were pragmatic people. When the problem was already at the beginning of its accumulation, they were already alarming themselves and others that such difficulty, such deviation, such problems occur. But nowadays we are so used to the numerous laws, numerous regulations that we have in our daily life, that many of us even don't see that majority of these regulations are in complete contrast with each other, and the one excludes another, and how to live and how to act within such laws. And another reason why laws are formulated currently in such a way, it's also very simple. Because if our code of law is full of contradictions, is full of misunderstanding and blurred statements, then always official, so state or judge, also representative of the state, they have final word and they have power. They are the decisive persons who make the decision. So another reason why the laws currently are very often in contradiction with each other, and they are so blurred, formed in a very blurred way, is that this gives the power to the authorities, power that cannot be challenged, because then everything depends on the interpretation at any moment that this interpretation can be different, by the way, but everything depends on the interpretation at the moment that is done by the official interpretation of some laws, and the verdict can be different each day for different people, can be different, verdict can be different. So we see, again we come back to one of my first statements, that in the dirty waters, and such numerous laws and regulations create in the sense of the word of law, dirty waters. In dirty waters, big fishes swim very well, but small fishes and middle fishes get lost very quickly. So this gives power to the people who are already strong and are in the moment friends of the ones who are really ruling the territory about which we are talking. So now we see that ancient wisdom, despite the fact that currently leftist propaganda is trying to tell us that everything what was in the past is worthless, and so ancient wisdom from classical antiquity, from the works that preserved till our times, is still there. We should take it to our hands, read it and learn from it, and this wisdom we can extract from it, apply into our lives wisely to make it better. Because ancient source of wisdom is not dry, and it will be never dry, but we need to use it. Take care, have a nice day, bye.